Round 16 of the AFL is over, so it's time for round 17. Let's get picking who's going to win. Okay, it wasn't the best of weeks again, and we are probably going down in the league table. But we started on Friday, Brisbane Lions versus Melbourne Demons. And I did get it correct. I did Brisbane to win by 32. They did just about win by 5. So I do get the point. Quite a few people actually miss out on the close score. So 1 point for me there. D's are struggling. Now they are struggling. Then on Saturday, North versus Western Bulldogs. And yes, the favourites did win. I did them to win by 40. They only won by 17. So I only get that 1 point again. It's very annoying. Sometimes North are getting smashed. Sometimes they're keeping it tight. It is hard to predict. Next up, though, gutted. That kick, that last kick of the game, which missed completely. We could have won it. We were behind pretty much all game. Look at that. 98% of you guys went for Swans. Only 2% went for Freo. Ah, mad. What a crazy game. And I'm gutted. It doesn't, look, on the grand scheme of things, it doesn't make any difference for us. It does put Fremantle into third place, which is crazy. That's what I predicted them to do last year, which they failed to do. But no points for me there because I did Swans to win by 30. Next up, Gold Coast versus Collingwood. Another surprise. The underdogs won again. This is happening a lot. I did Pies to win by 10. Gold Coast won by 11, so nothing for me on that one. Next up was Adelaide Crows versus Giants. I thought Giants could pick up some form, but no. At the Oval, Adelaide won by 16, even though I did GWS by 12. Yeah, it's not going right, is it? Some underdogs are winning. This is what I was a little bit shocked by. Geelong versus Essendon. I did Essendon to squeeze through by 8. I thought it would be close. But no, Geelong came out and absolutely smashed Essendon. Essendon are now in 4th, and that puts Geelong in 5th. They're staying in. They are holding on. It is still so tight, though, between 3rd place and 13th place. That's insane. Nothing for me on that game. Then, on Sunday, it was Saints versus Port. What a tight game. What a very, very tight game. I did do it to win by 10. I thought it would be fairly tight. I do get a 1.5, so that's some positives, I suppose. But quite a few people, even people that went for Saints, didn't think they'd win by much, and therefore they got half a point for the close result as well. So 1.5. Then Richmond versus Carlton, as predicted, and I'm annoyed because I'm about 3 or 4 points away from a close. I'm gutted about that one. Richmond got smashed. I did Carlton to win by 46. Carlton actually won by 61, so I get the 1 point for the victory. Next up, the last game of the week was West Coast versus Hawthorn. I just thought that West Coast could pull something off at the Optus. They did not. I did West Coast to win by 13. They lost by 61. That's a very, very low score from West Coast, which they've done a few times this season already. Looking at the league table after that week, after round 16, there is no change within the top 3 places. Guru, RPN, and Swanee Steve. Fantastic job from you guys. You are absolutely bossing it this year. But it is tight still because Yin gone up 1. He is in the hunt. Stinky Pinky right there with the golden hat is up 2. Let's see some movers then and see how far down I've gone. Oh, it's a disaster. Just remember, though, it's just for fun. I'm not saying I'm an expert. It's just about having fun with you guys. Up 4 is Tasha and AFL Legend. Up 10, Keyboard Warrior. Down 4, Limos and Jason. Down 11 is Shrek the Third. Up 17 is Frenchie. Well done, Frenchie. Up 5, Brycey B. Blue Bull, up 18. That is big. Jackson is up 2. Jaden Saints down 8 with Papa Cryptic. Up 6, Spitiful. Any more? Sam Bird's down 7. Up 8 is Bisque. Up 9 is Train Tracks and Marie Formica. Down 10 is Tom Here Now and Rach. Down 9 is Mad Swans Fan. Down 8 is Brighton. There's some serious movement in this sort of 30 category, 30 to 40 here. Up 10, Adelaide Bulldog. New Elijah, up 20. Impressive. Down 10 is DJD. Up 13, Ryan Meester. Well done. Down 8 is Vam H. Up 8, Paul. Up 9, Sarah Marr. Down 17 is Cats 1001. Up 21 is Mighty Muffin. Up 7, Emily Jane Blues. Well done. Up 10 is Arlo. Down 13, Sister Fifi. Up 16, Shizu. Up 11 is Aussie TV. Up 7, The Real Jam. Down 8, Sky Marie. Down 8, Bologna. Newman up 5. Jack ABM up 7. Valiant up 8. Down 7 is R56 Cooper. Oh, hang on. Okay, plus side. I'm down 8. Okay, so it's disaster. But with the wooden spoon, one place below me is Banger Harvey. Ouch. The wooden spoon goes to you, buddy. Let's look at a little bit more movement for you guys to see where you are if you are below me. How many we got in here now? Keep going. We're still going. We're still going. We're still going. Looking for your names. Looking for your names. And we finish with 170. No, there's more than 172. Fantastic. So on to round 17. And we start on Friday the 5th at MCG. Collingwood versus Bombers. Both teams come off a bit of a loss from last week. Collingwood's was less of a margin, let's just say, and Essendon did get absolutely blown apart. Both teams, they're in the top 8, Essendon down to 4th, and Collingwood only 2 points behind them. The only thing that makes me struggle to pick Essendon in this one is the fact that Essendon haven't necessarily favoured amazingly well against what you'd class as the more elite teams. So that's what's holding me back against picking them, whereas Collingwood, you would assume that they're always going to be there or thereabouts. So I'm going to go with a Collingwood win for the first game. Simply on that basis, home away doesn't make any difference here at the MCG. So I'm going to go with a Collingwood win by 20. Yeah, 20. Yeah, I think that's a fair result. Okay. Next game is Saturday, the 6th of July, and it is at Marvel Stadium. North versus Gold Coast. Now, obviously, Gold Coast came off a very, very good win in the last game. North can dream of victories or dream of that one win they've got 4 weeks ago. Just don't see their... I think this is simply, again, the case of how much Gold Coast going to win by. Now, obviously, last couple of weeks, I've gone quite big against North, and it's not been as big as I had hoped, the loss for them. If you look at it, Gold Coast, they're still one of the teams that are fighting to get into that top 8 with a chance to do it. North, they're out of it. Now, so they're just fighting for pride now. That's about it. Whatever pride they can now achieve, I don't know. I don't think they're going to beat the Suns. They can't beat the Suns, surely. Yeah, I think the fact that obviously Gold Coast was still in the hunt for top 8, North are playing for nothing now, are they really? They are playing for nothing. And I think Gold Coast are probably the better team in general. So I'm going to go with, let's have a look, 29. There you go, that looks a nice number for me. 29 to Gold Coast. Next, Adelaide Oval, it is Port versus Western Bulldogs. Western Bulldogs are on pretty decent form, and you could say are Adelaide trying to get that form back with last week's win. It's not an easy one to call, for sure. I think it's fairly even teams at the moment. Both teams can play good football. Some teams can not play good football. And I think it is interesting seeing Bulldogs being seen as the favourites here. When I think, but it is looking fairly tight, I suppose, in general. It's not been the greatest of seasons in terms of... I think the problem is they may have taken it. So look at it 2 years ago. They missed out on the top 8. They weren't very impressive. Then they managed to had an absolute blinding season last year to now probably doing enough. I think if you're a Port Adelaide fan, that's all right. And I could see them winning here. I think it will probably be fairly tight. Port haven't been blowing teams out of the water for a while now. So let's go with a Port win by 10. Difficult one, that one. It is a difficult one. Now, at the litter box, I did see someone in my comments tell me to please stop calling it the litter box. No, it is the litter box or litter tray, either way. Geelong, who did get a very good win last week against a Hawthorn side who I don't know what the hell's happening. What the hell is happening with that? They were against Eagles, who are poor. And that's not trying to be being mean to Eagles. I did tip the Eagles to win. I thought maybe they could get a surprise win at the Optus, but it was not to be. I think the Cats, yes, they're in 5th, and it does look at the form difference here. Like, it would almost feel like they should be the other way around in the table, but at the litter box, I don't think they're going to lose against a Hawthorn side who, yes, are in form, but I can just see Cats finding enough at the moment to stay in that top 8. So, not easy. This is not easy to call. If the Cats can be at their best, they'll wipe the floor with Hawthorn. That's my line of thinking. They're at home. Geelong by 17. That's not an easy one to call either, which is amazing. At the start of the season, you think, yeah, Geelong all day long here because Hawthorn were rubbish. But Hawthorn have shown some amazing form, and I will give it to them. I will give that to them. But Cats for me this week. Next up, Giants Stadium. It is GWS versus Carlton. I don't know how the odds are so close here. 2.2 compared to 1.7. I don't understand, because Carlton are playing pretty well. They are playing pretty well. I can't fault them. I know they're a boring team, in my opinion, but I won't fault them. They're doing well. Look at that form. And Giants have just fallen apart. And Carlton they've proven themselves to be one of the best teams in the league this year for sure. I just don't understand why in the betting market they're so tight. I'm going to go with because of that, I'm going to go with a close result here. But I can't see Carlton not winning this against a GWS side who started off really well and have just fallen apart. And I could see GWS not making top 8 this year if they keep this form up. So Carlton by 7. That's a tight one. Another difficult one to pick this week. There's some difficult ones for sure. Then after that disgusting victory from Fremantle last week, I'm disgusted, absolutely disgusted. Oh my God, that last kick of the game is haunting me. It is haunting me. Freo are at Optus, their home stadium, against a Richmond side who... What do I need to say anything about them? I don't think I need to even say anything about them. The betting odds says enough for starters, okay? And I'm not condoning betting. Don't do it. The bookies will always win. But it gives you a general idea, right? It's how many. Once again, it's how many. Let's go big. Screw it. Let's go big. Freo by 52. There you go. That's the first one that came to my head. Freo by 52. Richmond are just awful. And it makes me sick that one of their wins was against Swans. It's laughable. The fact that they beat us is shocking, and we're top of the table. Next game, Sunday, MCG, D's versus West Coast. Surely D's can't lose this one. Okay, they had a bit of form. West Coast did get a few wins, all right? So fair play to them for that. And D's are not playing well enough. But they surely can beat West Coast. And D's are still with a chance of getting top 8. They can still be it because that's how tight it is. Melbourne. After I said, after their loss last week, West Coast especially, Shows no hope for them. Melbourne, how many? 40. Let's do Melbourne by 40. That's not a difficult one to call, but it's by how many? I'm sorry. Then, Marvel, Saints versus Sydney. Sydney, they're not going to lose 2 games in a row. Surely they're not going to lose 2 games in a row. We've seen what happens when Sydney have lost that game against Richmond. That gave them a real kick up the backside, and they went on this incredible form, pushed away at the top of the table. We need to keep that gap. I want first place, okay? I want first place. First place is basically us winning the league, showing that we've been dominant throughout the season. It shows that we deserve to lift the trophy at the end of the season. So, Saints lackluster. I'm sorry, they have been lackluster. If you follow Cardman on YouTube, you know, I've done stuff with him. If you follow him and you see when he does his vlogs, the disappointment in his face. One, Cardi, if you watch this, it is hilarious. I love it. It's so funny. Because Saints are awful and you support them. They can't win. They are awful. Saints are awful. They had so much potential. Gone. So, Swans, my Swans are going to batter them. Let's go with a Swans win. Let's go 30. It's not too mean, is it? A Swans win by 30. I think that loss will be a 1-week issue, and that's it. Back in the game. Then, last game of the season at the Gabba, Brisbane versus Crows. Brisbane have found that form again. You know, it was worrying, right? Start of the season, it was like, what is going on? But they are looking stronger. They're clinging onto that top 8 spot at the moment. And I think beating the Crows, it's going to cement that opportunity that they've got to be in the top 8. So, Crows, the form says it all, doesn't it, really? Yes, they won last week, but I don't know. I don't think it's anything special. And I think they're letting themselves down. They're letting their team down. The attack is poor. Defence is poor. They are not playing well. Brisbane have found that form. They are getting results now. I think they will make top 8. I have no doubt they'll make top 8. So, a Brisbane win by 20. No, 19. There you go. A Brisbane win by 19. So, to recap on my picks, Collingwood by 20, Gold Coast by 29, Port by 10, Geelong by 17, Carlton by 7, Freo by a massive 52, Melbourne by a pretty massive 40, Swans by 30, and Brisbane by 19. So those are my picks for the week. I hope you're enjoying, guys. Every week it's interesting because it's a really, really difficult one to call. And for me anyway, some of you guys are doing insanely well. So congratulations, especially if you're in that sort of top 30 even, you're doing pretty well. Thank you so much for joining me again this week. It means so much. Make sure, Lena's saying goodbye as well, look. Make sure you join me next week to see how we got on. And I'll catch you next time.
No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.